Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today is a new topic or a new subject we are going to discuss. Till last week, we were discussing for maybe around 15 to 20 weeks. We discussed on Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, or Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. I thought I will give a pause and we will try to discuss on Raja Yoga of Swami Vivekananda. Quite a few people were inquiring or asking about Swamiji, can you take some classes on Raja Yoga or on Patanjali Yoga Sutras? Some queries were there. So I thought I will give a break or pause to the divine play, Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, and we will try to discuss Raja Yoga. As we all know that in the last century, Swami Vivekananda taught Raja Yoga to the students, to the Vedantic students in the New York. Through that, Raja Yoga became once more famous at worldwide. Of course, it was there in India, no doubt, but in the worldwide, it became very famous. And interestingly, one more important contribution of Swami Vivekananda is clearly, systematically giving 4 yogas as 4 paths to reach the ultimate reality. And if you take any path across the religions, across the globe, they will be categorized or they can be classified under these 4 paths. One is Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, then Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, and Raja Yoga, the path of psychic control or mind or meditation. So, all different spiritual practices can be classified in any one of these 4 paths. That is the beauty of the 4 yogas. Now, June 21st has been celebrated as International Yoga Day. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, yoga has been boiled down to, reduced to yoga asanas or the physical exercises. And of course, yoga also has become a tool for the business. Yoga has become an industry nowadays. It is good or bad, but it is the fact. But yoga means, is it just physical exercise or yoga asanas, which will help us to take care of our body, to take care of our mind? It is a one simple or maybe very limited usage or limited meaning of the yoga. Yoga has got much more higher meanings. The etymological meaning of the Sanskrit root yoga comes from the yoga root called yuj actually. Yuj means there are two, three meanings at broad can. One is to unite, to separate, and to harness. Now, to unite, if you see in the Bhakti Yoga or in the Jnana Yoga, the path of devotion and the path of knowledge, what we do here? Here we try to merge individual self with the supreme self from the Jnana Yoga. And from the Bhakti Yoga, the individual self is trying to experience the supreme self. So it is sort of union. So yoga, yujur yoga means to unite. And the other is the yoga, one more meaning is what? To separate. What is separation here? So the Sankhya Yoga says that why are we suffering? Oh, because there is a union between Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is a self, and Prakriti is what this world and its objects and all. So there is a attachment cognitive attachment between the self and the non-self, that is where all suffering, all problems. Then what to do? Separate that. Separate the self with from the object or from the world or from the non-self, then all the problems ceases to exist. So there is a separation actually. That's where yoga and Patanjali yoga or the Sankhya yoga all comes in. And in especially with reference to special reference to yoga, Raja Yoga, here the yoga is to yoke or to harness. Basically, to integrate the mind, to connect the mind, to link the mind to the higher values or to the higher consciousness or whatever. And for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, they say, Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga vyogam yoga sannitam. That which is known as yoga is the disconnection from union with the pain itself. Means what? Again, separation of Purusha and the Prakriti. This is what the meaning of yoga. So, yoga is a path by which you can realize, experience the ultimate reality. If the goal is experiencing the ultimate reality, which you can call God or self or supreme self or Atman or Brahman or consciousness, whatever it may be, that is the goal. And how to reach that goal? So the means is what the yoga. Any yoga maybe, that is what. Now here Raja Yoga, what is yoga? We know it is a path to reach the ultimate reality, which is an harnessing or yoking or whatever. Then why it is called Raja Yoga? Bhakti Yoga, devotion, Dhyana Yoga, knowledge, path of knowledge, and Karma Yoga because path it is of selfless action. Why it is called Raja Yoga? Why? Because it is considered as king of all yogas. I mean, someone traditionally it has been said, so it has been called by the name Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means what? It is the king among all the yogas. Why? Because it delves into the depths of the human mind and it seeks to control it, and ultimately it transcends its fluctuations. So in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the first sutra is what? Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So Nirodha means it is not only control, it is self-mastery. That's what they are saying. And one more interesting analysis is what? In the northern India, the monks are called Maharaj. Now, if you see, most of the monks are penniless beggars. Then if the monks are called Maharaj, the kings, is it not mockery? Is it not sarcastic addressing? Why the monks are called Maharaj? With all devotion, with all respect they call. Why is it? Because the tradition goes like this. Why? Because the monks are supposed to be the masters of their mind. They had a control over their mind or their thoughts and the feelings, emotions, and whatnot. That's why they are the kings of themselves. And that is the real kingship. I am a king of a big kingdom, or I am a king for a country or for a continent. So what? I may be that, no doubt, but if I am the what do you say, the slave of my senses, my feelings, my thoughts, then I'm not the real king. So who has got a control over his mind and the thoughts and the feelings, he is the real king. From that sense, in the India, the monks are called Maharaj. So from the same idea, this yoga is also called Raja Yoga. Patanjali Yoga is also called Raja Yoga. Why? Because Raja Yogi, he tries to control over his mind and he masters his mind. Means masters his thoughts, masters his feelings, masters his emotions or fluctuations. At his will, he can think, at his will, he can withdraw. So that is why it is called Raja, means royal path, or the king among all the yogas. So Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga, now we are trying to discuss. It has got actually two parts. If you see Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga, it has got two parts. The first part consists of 8 lectures. These 8 lectures were delivered by Swami Vivekananda in the New York in January 1896. In January 1896, Swamiji delivered 8 lectures on the Raja Yoga, which is the first part. And it is supposed to be, it is meant for the beginners. These first 8 lectures are the summary of the Raja Yoga or Patanjali Yoga based on basically. So, of course, he mixes Vedanta also, there no doubt. So, they are the 8 lectures which was meant for beginners. And the second part of Raja Yoga, which consists of four chapters. The four chapters are nothing but the translations of the four chapters of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So here there is a difference of opinion. So there is a Western lady who is called Sister Gargi or Mary Louise Berg, who made a extensive research on Swami Vivekananda's stay in the West, especially in the US, of course. So she has bought 8 or 9 volumes in the Swami Vivekananda New Discoveries. She says that the second part of the Raja Yoga, which are the four chapters, which is nothing but the translation of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they were lectures given to advanced students of the Vedanta. The first 8 lectures were the beginners, and the second 4 lectures were second 4 chapters were given for the advanced students. Now, Sister Devamata and some others, they believe and they opine that Swami Vivekananda had a personal secretary, Miss Ellen Waldo, and Swami Vivekananda used to give notes on this Patanjali Yoga, and she used to take the notes itself. Maybe for the benefit of the humankind, for the benefit of the people, or rather, he wanted to bring in a book form. So, keeping the Patanjali Sutras, he tried to translate in English, which is appealing and which can be understood for the Western audience in those days. For that reason, Swamiji, he translated the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he used to dictate, and this Miss Waldo, she noted down. As a result, we got the second part of the Raja Yoga, which is 4 chapters of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. All the Yoga Sutras, more or less, Swamiji has translated. And interestingly, if you see, Swami Vivekananda himself was greatest Raja Yogi. He was Gnana Yogi, no doubt. He was Karma Yogi, he was no doubt. He was Bhakti Yogi, also no doubt. And he was Raja Yogi also. I can give you 2 examples how Swami Vivekananda himself was a great Raja Yogi. So now he is giving lectures on Raja Yoga, and we are going to study, and he was one of the best available teacher. Why? 2 things. One, I think it was with Swami Akhandanandji or one or two their brother monks and Swami Vivekananda. All of them were sitting for meditation in the foothills of Himalayas in near temple or some place. So there were a lot of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes or houseflies, so much so that already Swami Akhandanandji and other even monastic disciples, they were all well established in meditation to larger extent. But even though there was so much mosquitoes and houseflies, they were not able to sit for meditate. They sat and for no time they had to beat or they had to chase the mosquitoes and houseflies. Now for us, 1 or 2 mosquitoes, 1 or 2 houseflies is enough for us to get disturbed our meditation. But in their case, it was too much anyhow. But Swami Vivekananda, he was never disturbed by any of them. He sat in deep meditation for a long time. And so much so that, one of his brother disciple describes in his reminiscences, that the houseflies or the mosquitoes was covering as a layer of a cloth on Swami Vivekananda's bodies and Swami Vivekananda's body, and Swami Vivekananda was not aware of it. He was well established in meditation. So after a long time, maybe an hour or 2 or 3, when Swami Vivekananda slowly, when he came down from his meditation and when he shook his body, and a carpet of or a shallow like a carpet, a layer of mosquitoes, housefly, just they flew from his body, it seems. So he was well established in the meditation, I mean to say. Raja Yogi was. This is the one example. There is one more interesting example, which is not much recorded or not much available. I think once someone challenged, or what is the reason I'm not able to recall now. So he cut his finger. He cut his finger and he showed, look, blood is not coming. Why? Because he was a Raja Yogi, he was able to control even his flow of blood and other things, it seems. So he was one of the greatest Raja Yogi. And interestingly, his own guru, Sri Ramakrishna, he himself was also a greatest Raja Yogi. In the sense, like, he also had practiced Hatha Yoga. Like in the Hatha Yoga, one of the it can be scary for many of us. In the Hatha Yoga, where people, I mean, the Hatha Yogins who are well established, Hatha Yogins, I'm saying that. The Hatha Yogis, they can remove their intestine, and they can clean the intestine and they can put back into their body. which is very scary. And of course, the caution is only who is well established, they can do that. We should never do that. Oh, Swami Shantivratananda was saying that we can remove the intestine and we can clean it and we can put it back. So why can't we try? No, please don't try it. And Sri Ramakrishna was able to do that, remove the intestine, clean it, and put it back. And he was very good at that. I mean, he was basically established in that yoga. But he had given a caution that for his disciples not to practice Hatha Yoga because it is extremely difficult in this present age. And not only that, there is a chance that our mind gets fixed in the body instead of going towards the God. So he said Bhakti Yoga is best, or otherwise Gnana Yoga or Karma Yoga is enough, not the Raja Yoga and not the Hatha Yoga. That's how in the Ramakrishna mission, sadhana paddhati, that is in the spiritual practices, we don't practice Raja Yoga or Hatha Yoga. At the most, we practice meditation. Okay. Now, giving this background, let me go into the subject. The first chapter in the Raja Yoga is really very marvelous. Because, of course, Swamiji is discussing to the Western audience in those days where the logical positivists, idealists, realists, and scientific innovations had happened. A lot of people were thinking about the God and the religion as superstition and not required. And there were a lot of challenges put to the religion and to the religious preachers, and they were not able to handle. This is one side. The other side, because of the scandals, too many scandals and so many other reasons, the religious institutions were crumbling down and the people were slowly turning away from the religion. So this was the condition, political and social condition in the world and especially in the West. So at that critical juncture, Swamiji is discussing the Raja Yoga. The first chapter, he's telling that he starts with what is the difference between religion and the science. So his ideas I have taken and I am trying to put in the now in the point wise. He says, religion. What is religion? So in the Semitic religions, based on the Semitic religions and based on the Western concept of religion at large, what is religion? Oh, religion is set of dogmas, rituals. First point. Religion is nothing but set of do's and do's instructions. It is a set of instructions which says you should do this, you should not do this. Okay, and religion is faith based. When I came to Ireland initially, when people used to ask, you belong to which faith? To which faith you belong? I was scratching my head, because in India we ask to which religion you belong to. They were asking for which faith you ascribe to which faith you belong to. I was feeling difficulty to understand. Slowly I understood why. Because for them, the religion based on the particular faith. So religion is faith based. And in many religions to larger extent, maybe little okay, but more than that, they don't subscribe or they don't encourage reasoning, no questioning, no reasoning. So it is a faith based and no place for reasoning and the questioning. And it is mostly authority based. This is what, and it is not universal in nature, it is highly subjective. So these are the few concepts we have got about the religion, and Swami Vivekananda describes it. And also, if you see, interestingly, the religion comes from the Latin word called religio, which means to bind with divine or to bind with beliefs. Very interestingly, anyhow. So these are the idea. This is the idea or concept which we have got on religion, basically in the Western mind. Now, what is science? Oh, science comes again from the Latin word. It is called scientia or scientia. They say scientia, it is more accepted, which is based on to know for the truth, which is meant for search for truth, or knowing, knowledge, truth, and all. This is the etymological meaning of the science. And science is based on reasoning, on conclusions. It is experimentable and it is based on experiments. It is universal in nature. It is highly objective in nature and whatnot. So it appears that there is a great difference or the pole of opposites between the religion and the science. Science is very objective in nature. Religion is very subjective in nature. It is a faith-based, and the religion is faith-based, and the science is reason-based. and it is an authority. Religion is based on authority, whether science is not based on the authority, rather it is based on experiments and conclusions. Now, for a common man, what is more interesting? Science is more interesting. Why? Because it is not faith based. It is not what do you say, authority based. Rather, it is reasoning based and experimentable. Whatever. This is what our understanding. Okay. Now, the science is searching for truth. Science is searching for that unity. And what is the methodology which it has accepted? At the broad canvas, I'm speaking. I'm not going to any particular field of sciences like physics, chemistry, mathematics, or biology, or whatever. Now, the science has accepted the methodology. Science has got methodology. Every field of knowledge has got its own methodologies. Now, generally, there is an observation. So, based on the observations, they construct hypotheses. Based on some observations, they build hypotheses. Based on the hypothesis, they make experiments. And based on the results, they make conclusions. So, based on the observations, they try to build hypotheses. Based on hypothesis, they do experiments, and on the results, they derive conclusions. At the most, scientists asks us to believe on conclusions, otherwise not on anything else. And these conclusions and these experiments, whatever, they are observable and they are measurable. So they're not dependent on faith or belief or opinion. It is experimentable, it is reasonable, and it is universal in nature. This is what we are all understanding about the science and religion. Now, Swamiji starts his lecture based on these ideas only. Afterwards, afterwards, probably in those times, the people who were listening, they were all felt that, oh, Swamiji is a monk. Being a monk is such a rational personality. Yes, you see, what is religion, what is science, so beautifully is telling, and whatever we know that. Then after explaining this, Swamiji says, wait, hold on. Now I'm going to tell few other new things. So based on the Vedanta, based on the Raja Yoga, Swamiji is trying to define the religion and the probably spirituality in a different angle. Because for Swamiji and for Hinduism, or the broad canvas, or for the Vedanta, religion means it is realization. Religion means it is nothing to do with the dogmas and rituals and the practices. That's the one part of it, actually. For us, religion means it is realization. So, really, there is no difference between religion, spirituality, and the philosophy and the practices in the Indian context or the Vedantic context. Anyhow, now, this observation, based on the observation, we build the hypothesis, then we do the experiments, and we get the results, and based on that, we do conclusions. Okay. For that, we have got two types of thinking actually, two types of approach actually. What is that? One is inductive logic and other is deductive logic. Now, all these things, whoever studied science, we all know that. Sorry if I'm boring you too much, but it is quite interesting. At least I enjoy it. Now, what is this inductive logic? Inductive logic is like a bottom up reasoning, they say. Means from specific observations, we go to the universal observations. How? I will give an example. Now, today I observed sun rose in the eastern direction. Yesterday I had observed sun rose in the eastern direction. So maybe for week, one whole week I observed, yes, it was in the east direction. For a year, yes. For a decade, yes. For so much long time I observed. So sun rises in the eastern direction, and it is more or less everyone's view experience is also same thing. So sun rises in the eastern direction is what my conclusion. So it is based on the small experiences or individual observations, we come to the universal conclusion. And actually, it becomes more probably relevant by giving this example, I think. Like Socrates is a mortal because Socrates took birth on such and for such a particular time and he died. Now, Jesus Christ, I mean, as a person, I'm saying that he's a mortal. And Hitler was a mortal. Napoleon was a mortal. I mean, Stephen Hawkins, who always, what you say, argued that there is no God, there is no God. Finally, he said there may be God particle, and he died. So Stephen Hawkins is also a mortal. Thomas Alva Edison is also a mortal. Anne or Jimmy or Elizabeth or the UK Queen, she was also mortal. Means all human beings are mortal. Now, my conclusion is what? All human beings are mortal. This is the universal conclusion. How did I come to that conclusion? Because X, Y, Z, so many individuals I saw. As a result, I've come into universal conclusion. From particulars, I reached to the universal conclusions. This is what inductive logic. Okay. Now there is called deductive logic. Deductive logic is what? Top down reasoning. It is a bottom up reasoning, inductive logic. Deductive logic is what? Top down reasoning. Means from universal, we travel to particulars. In inductive logic, from particular, we were going to universal, and deductive logic, deduction. So from universals, we will be going to particulars. How? Example. All planets orbit stars. Earth is a planet. So Earth also orbits stars. Stars are a star. And we can see that Earth is orbiting a star called Sun. So now all planets orbit stars. That was an universal conclusion. And so all planets orbit stars. Earth is a planet. So Earth also orbits star or stars. So from universal conclusion, we are coming to particular conclusion. From universal, we are going to our universal or general principle, we are going to particular principle or particulars. This is what deductive logic. And this inductive logic and deductive logic is used by physicists especially, and mathematicians, and all of them to prove their truth. Now, Swamiji describing what is science, what is our understanding of science, what is understanding of our religion, and how science is using this inductive logic and deductive logic as a reasoning to prove their understandings. And he makes a one general statement now. What does he make? All our knowledge, all our theories are based, or all our conclusions are based on experiences and observations. All our knowledge, all our observation theories, or all our conclusions basically are based on experiences and observations. This is what Swamiji is making here now, one very universal statement. Okay. After making this statement, Swamiji said, even so, religion also. Even it is same in the case of religion. But, however, I say, but religion, whether religion also gives its theory or it gives conclusions based on experience, if you ask, he says it is affirmative and it is negative also. Swamiji was, what you say, he was so open and so truthful and honest. He said, the reply is affirmative and it is negative. Means it is yes and no. Why? Because he beautifully he gives a beautiful analysis from the based on the history of religion, basically religion and religions. Now, most of the religions which appears in the world religions, they are taught all over the world based upon faith and belief actually. But interestingly, if you see, that religion started with the inception or the genesis of the religion started from where? It started from an experience. The Christianity started from the Christ teachings, but Christ experienced the God. Christ experienced his nature. Christ experienced the ultimate truth. Then he gave his teachings to his disciples, 12 or 16 disciples, and from there, slowly the Christianity arose, or Christianity got spread. Now, when it comes to Islam, now Muhammad Paigambar also he had some revelations. He had an experience. He had revelations. He had some teachings he got from the angels or celestial beings. He had experience of higher things, and based on that, he gave his teachings, and slowly, slowly, it got spread. Same thing with Buddhism. Buddha, he came in search for the truth, And he spent a lot of time, and finally in the Bodhi Ruksha tree, below the Bodhi Ruksha tree, he sat and he meditated for a long time, or for a long, maybe few years, and he got Bodhisattva. He got enlightened. Means he experienced the truth and he gave back. Same thing with the Jainism. Mahavira and other Tirthankaras, they experienced the truth and they taught. Same thing with Hinduism. Our primary scripture called Vedas. Vedas are nothing but the treasure house of wisdom, treasure house of knowledge. And it is the collection of the experiences revealed or experienced by rishis actually. Now, Swamiji gives all these explanations basically. He gives all this analysis. Now, if you see any world religion, basically, it started with experiences and it started with observations and it started with revelations. But however we say so, but slowly afterwards, what happens? These were recorded, these were handed over to disciples. Maybe after immediate disciples, one or two or few generations, they also to some certain extent experienced the truth, but then afterwards slowly it degenerated, means in the sense it became a theory, it became a probably based on the faith or based on the belief, based on my scriptures or based on the authority, the religion started getting spread. That's what Swamiji said. Because of that fanatism, bigotry, bloodshed, everything came into existence in the society or in the world. So that's what Swami says. Religion is also based on the experiences, no doubt, because you see all the great peoples, prophets and the great saints and the monks and the founders, they experienced the truth and they gave. But afterwards, their disciples, they failed to experience it, and simply they started telling the based on the authority and based on the belief or the faith, they started speaking or preaching the truth or religion, and that's where the bloodshed came. And Swami Vivekananda says, interesting one more. In the broad canvas, religion can be classified into two groups. One is based on revelation and experiences, but there are no written books. So such type of faiths or religions, slowly they got extinct, and there are very few people, handful of people following that religion. Whereas whichever the religion or the faith has got a written books, scriptures which are sacred in nature, they got survived, and there are hundreds of thousands of followers are there which are strong in nature. And after explaining this, Swami Vivekananda comes, Raja Yoga does not fall under this category. Means because scripture says so, or my guru says so, or by authority like an institution says so, you should believe. No. So it is a wonderful science which has got its own observations, which has got its own theories, no doubt. But they say that, okay, this is what our observations, this is what our theories we are going to express, we are expressing you with you. You can make an experiment and you can find out whether it is true or not. That is the beauty of Raja Yoga, and that is the uniqueness of Raja Yoga, according to Swami Vivekananda. So, and Swami Vivekananda says that very interestingly, actually, if our founder are able to experience the divine, experience that individual self, then why can't we experience it? We should be able to do so. If my guru or some gurus or some teachers in our faith or in our religion, if they were able to experience the truth, you may call God, you may call self or Atman or Brahman or consciousness or whatever it may be. If they were able to experience, that means there is always possibility even I can experience in the present day. So that should be our approach, that should be our thinking. So it is not just mere faith-based or belief-based or authority-based. It should be experimented and it should be experienceable. Swamiji makes this very daring statement, actually. Very interesting and logical also. Now the question may come, yes, Swamiji, it is quite interesting, yes, but how did Swamiji makes this statement? What is the basis for this statement? Swamiji gives a very rational explanation for this. Swamiji says, in uniformity is the rigorous law of the nature. Uniformity is the rigorous law of nature. So what once happened can happen always. This is what the rational Swamiji gives. So that means even today, if we sincerely practice the age old truths, one can experience the God, one can experience the ultimate reality. In fact, if you remember Swami Vivekananda's life, that young Naren went to his master Sri Ramakrishna with this question: Sir, have you seen God? And Sri Ramakrishna, so simple, straightforward answer he gave: Yes, my dear, I have seen God. But only the difference is I have seen God much more with clarity or much more clearly than I am seeing you. That means what? The Naren asked, Swami Vivekananda as a young Naren asked his master, Sir, can we experience the God? And his guru, his master said, Yes, we can experience the God. And I have experienced the God with much more clarity, much more clearly. And again, he continues, his master, even if you want to see God, if you want to experience God or the ultimate reality, I can help you. Okay. That's why it is called Yoga Sahayak. In the Kandana Bhavabandhana, in the hymn we sing, there Sri Ramakrishna has been addressed by Swami Vivekananda as Yoga Sahayak. Why? Because he helps the people to go in the spiritual paths. And the third point, his master says that, but how many people want to experience this ultimate reality? Very few people. They spend a lot of their time and they shed jugs of tear for the woman and the gold or for the materialistic benefits, but not for the God or for the spirituality. So here the masters and disciples meeting itself started with, can we experience God or have you experienced the God? And his teacher says, yes, we can experience. Now, Swami Vivekananda gives one more interesting point on Raja Yoga is that Raja Yoga declares that religion is not only based upon the experience of ancient times, but that no man can be religious until he has the same perceptions himself. Yoga is the science which teaches us how to get these perceptions. Or because XYZ practiced and there is the truth or they've experienced, so it may be true and let me follow it. No. Raja Yoga doesn't ask you to do that. Raja Yoga is not asking you to believe in that way. Because it was experimented and it was able to practice and it was able to experience in those days. Even today, it is possible, my dear. Please go ahead. Please make an experiment. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying. Now, he says, then why there is so much quarrel in the name of religion? Swamiji asks, he puts a question. He says, according to me, it is a beautiful, simple answer. If you practice religion, there is no problem. If you use religion, then there is a problem. If you start practicing the religious truths, whatever is told in any scripture, no problem. But if you use the religion as a tool for name, fame, power, position, or to do your own things or the popular, whatever, so that's where only the bloodshed comes. And Swami Vivekananda gives a very interesting, very beautiful and straightforward answer. Why there is so much bloodshed? Why there is so much quarrel and wars have happened in the name of God, in the name of religion? Swami Vivekananda gives a straight answer, because whoever the people who were the cause for this war, because they never went to the fountainhead of the religion, he says. Here, fountainhead means they never experienced the God, they never experienced the ultimate truth. That's what Swami Vivekananda means. They were only content with mere customs, rituals, and theories. They didn't experience the ultimate truth. Rather, themselves, they were content about quoting the scriptures, theories, or the customs, or they were just following the rituals and the customs, and they were quoting only theories. That's all. And again, Swami Vivekananda gives one more interesting and very daring statement. If there is a God, we must see him. If there is a soul, we must perceive it. Otherwise, it is better not to believe. It is better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. What a great statement. If there is a God, we must see him. If there is a soul or self, we must perceive, we must experience it. Otherwise, it is better not to believe. Or it is not possible to see means it is better not to believe then. Why? Because it is better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying. Such a glaring but daring statement Swami Vivekananda is telling. Means his intention is what? Religion is not based on faith or a belief and all. Maybe to start with, religion is based on experience actually. And after saying this, then he himself questions, okay, There are a number of people, or rather, it has become a fashion with some so-called intellectuals that all this religion, spirituality is all is bundle of superstitions. It is just a faith, or it is a bundle of superstitions. There is no reality in it. Okay, my then Swami Vivekananda questions them. My point or my question to them is: have you tried sincerely? There are teachings, there are paths given by laid out in the scriptures based on the experiences of the saints and the prophets or the incarnations or the spiritual illuminaries. So they have given already how to reach the God, how to experience the God, how to experience the self. They have laid out the paths. Have you practiced the paths? Have you sincerely practiced the paths? And still, if you didn't reach the God, didn't reach the self, then you can say religion is nonsense, religion is meaningless, and religion is a super bundle of superstitions. You can say all of them. You have never made an attempt, you have never studied properly, and you have never made an attempt. And instead of that, keep on go on beating the drums and saying that religion is bundle of superstitions and XYZ. It is nonsense. So if you want to really criticize religion, you are welcome, but make a sincere attempt. Make a sincere attempt. Then, if you are not able to reach, then come on. You have got all the right to say religion and God and the self, everything is superstitious and bundle of beliefs and whatnot. Having said this, Swamiji says that, okay, what is the goal of religion? He says, experiencing the self, experiencing the God, experiencing the consciousness, or the ultimate reality, or the ultimate truth, or the unity behind the existence. This is what even science is searching for. So religion is also a science, spiritual science, which is also trying to find out what is the unity behind every existence, behind this world, behind the human beings, behind the above worlds, below worlds, gross universe, subtle universe. Behind that, there is a unity behind all this existence. What is that unity? To understand, to experience that, the religion is the goal. That is the goal of the religion. Okay, fine. What is the path to reach that goal? That is experienced in the ultimate reality. If you ask, they say it is four yogas, according to Swami Vivekananda. Now you can say Kundalini Yoga, you can say Dhyana Yoga, you can say Japa Yoga, you can say Nada Yoga. Like that, so many types of yogas we can bring. I mean, recently I was hearing one interesting thing, blah blah yoga. It seems I don't know what does it mean. Only I heard the name. I didn't read it deeply. Blah blah yoga. So any new path you can bring, so that can be categorized in this one or two, or in any one of these paths, which is four yogas. The four yogas are the paths through which one can realize the God, or realize the experience the God, or experience the self, or the reality. Okay. Now, what is the methodology? At least from Raj Yoga point of view, Swami Vivekananda starts telling that one is the what is the methodology to experience the truth, or experience the samadhi, or maybe Kundalini awakening. For that, he says, first is cleaning the mind. First and foremost is all the spiritual paths, different paths are different isms. Everyone says that you have to clean the mind. Purification of the mind, cleansing of the mind is the most important. That is the first step. That is the first method in the methodology. That is the first step. Okay. Then the second is controlling the mind. So until otherwise we clean the mind, we cannot control the mind. So purification of the mind, then the second step is what? Controlling the mind. Okay. Then the third is what? Correct thinking, or trying to correct our thinking, correct our cognitions, perceptions, or understandings. When these three things are done, it is more or less we'll be nearer to the God. One is purification of the mind. The second is control of the mind, and then correcting our thinking from from wrong thinking to right thinking. When these three things are done, obviously one will be able to perceive the truth. All different type of sadhanas has been put under this actually. So cleansing the mind, correcting, controlling the mind, and correcting the thinking. Now, why is this? If you ask, Swamiji gives a beautiful example, because mind is the instrument, the only instrument through which you can experience the God. Mind is the only instrument through which you can experience the God. And mind is the instrument which is making you to feel happy or unhappy in this world. Just like we have got so many different type of experiment or different type of advanced instruments or simple instruments to see the world and its objects, and to see that self or the god, which is the ultimate reality or the supreme reality, the only instrument given by the god or given by the nature or whatever you say, it is the only instrument is what? Mind. So you have to clean the mind, you have to purify the mind, you have to make the mind fittest instrument so that you can experience the reality. Now, what are the things, steps we have to follow to all these things? It is quite interesting. We shall try to see in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah. Some of you might know the Thursday we don't have a weekly class on Prashnopanishad. We have got a Guru Purnima celebrations from 6:30 to 8. All of you are welcome in person, and also YouTube link will be there. You people who cannot come, you can watch the celebrations through YouTube. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we are having a talk on yoga as a way of life in the Trinity College from 4 p.m. in person. Swami Tattva that is the minister in charge of Vivekananda Vedanta, Vivekananda Society from Northern California, that is San Francisco, is coming. So all are welcome to attend both the events. Thank you.